Morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Morning.
morning. Give it a couple minutes here. Hello. Welcome, everyone. Hope everybody's having a great morning already. So today I read something this morning that um basically I think it was, I don't know who posted it, but it said Bruce Lee, it's Bruce Lee's quote, says don't even talk about yourself negatively because your body doesn't know the difference. Words are spells. That's why it's called spelling. So we have to be super conscious. I guess it's what we should do with everything, is to be conscious about why we do the things we do. Consciously connecting to our relationships, consciously connecting to money, to the words that come out of our mouth. Because oftentimes we say things and we don't actually know the effects of it. Right? Like, what do we say? We don't have enough time? Do we say I'm too stressed? Do we say, the words that come out of our mouth, we literally manifest that into reality for ourselves. And so we'll kind of start on that topic today. Okay. And as we give it another couple minutes to let people join us, I'll just quickly say a prayer for everybody that's watching. Um, Dear God, as we gather here this morning, Sunday morning for me, very early in the morning, I give this call over to you, and all the healings that manifest is beyond my comprehension. Let this call be a reminder of love, of who we are, and let the message reach and touch people's hearts deeply. And from there, let that expand out to the world and to all the relationships in our lives. Blessings and miracles to show up for everyone in all endeavors and business and relationships. And from that space, we give you credit for everything that is us, and also all of our challenges we give up to you as well. So we know the Holy Spirit rests in all things and all beings. And from that space, we say thank you. Amen. I hope. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Mark from the airport. All right, so we'll get started. I really like the conversation that we were in last week. It stayed with me all week about the example with the battlefield. And so I continue to reflect on that each day. And we spoke about defense and attack, whether it's in thought or in words, right? When we see a battlefield, everything's a battlefield. Every time that we want to be right about something, is a battlefield. Every time that we feel stressed out, we feel anxiety, it's a battlefield, right? And we spoke about how being beyond the battlefield, that we don't participate and take sides, that we put the sword down and we put the shield down, and that's the way to, and then can we navigate through that battlefield, to the beautiful metals beyond. So, as I was thinking that beyond all judgments, like when we are in, different scenarios, different things that show up in our life throughout the day, it's all about battlefield. There's temptations to get engaged into this world, into all the dramas of this world. And can we just simply smile upon it. I was continuing to listen and to see what other people spoke about the subject of letting your defenses down and putting the shield and the sword down. And Ken Wapnick, who is one of the he knew Helen and he knew Bill, and he's one of the early teachers of A Course in Miracles. He passed away a couple years ago, but Ken Wapnick had a YouTube video, and he was talking about uh, that if you can smile upon all situations and all relationships, smile not like it's funny, but smile knowing that it cannot affect you. It cannot take the love that is in you. It cannot take that away no matter what. And to recognize our invulnerability, right? That we couldn't be touched, we couldn't be hurt, we couldn't be victimized. And also, Natalia sent a really great video from Marion Williamson that I signed up for her Tuesday calls now. But it was a 72-hour recording. I got to listen to the first like 15 minutes of it. It was wonderful. It was great. And Natalia, if at any point you want to chime in and add anything from that call or your takeaways from it, please feel free to do so. Yeah, and this morning is just dedicated to miracles, dedicated to the message that's meant to come across for all of us to collaboratively co-create. We last week that vision was co-created. I don't know how it came about, but I know that everybody on the call felt connected to that same vision, that same story, that same metaphor, I guess. So, and Ken Wapnick, he basically said that, beyond the battlefield, I don't know if he used the battlefield exactly, but he said beyond that. That's what I heard. Beyond the battlefield. Morning, Francis. Yeah, definitely. I would love to speak at the next Vegas real estate meetup. Let me know. Send me a DM and I'm in. Oops, distracted. Where was I? Oh, the battlefield. So beyond the battlefield is to be able to see all the relationships, see all the things happening that you would once consider a battlefield, right? You would get triggered at something that somebody did. Can you smile upon it? And when you let go of judgments, to walk off the battlefield, to not participate in the drama of this world is literally to become a witnesser of it. You become a witnesser. See, the advanced level of students in the Course of Miracles recognizes that we actually need do nothing. We need do nothing because we're witnessing something, and what that something is happening is not really happening. I'm perceiving that it's happening, right? I'm perceiving that there's an attack happening, so I feel like I need to correct something. I'm perceiving that I'm being attacked, so I need to do something to defend myself. I'm perceiving, all the lovelessness in the world and all the fear in the world, so I feel like I need to do something. But to become a witnesser is really to do the most is to just witness. To recognize that there is nothing to do in the first place. That the doing this does not need to happen. That's why the Course says you need do nothing. You can do something. You can do them, but just realize that all the things that you do at the end of the day does not determine who you are, does not take away from the infinite possibility and potentiality that is you. Nothing that you do can add or take away from it. See, that's the recognition. Everything else is just fluff. So the needing of doing something, good morning, the needing of doing something is not necessary. And this is where Course students kind of get confused. And, where the Course like, what do you mean you need do nothing? There is suffering happening in the world. There is shootings happening. There's a lot of things that we see as horrific that's happening that we shouldn't accept as a society. But even the entire society, the construct of the game, the rules that were created from the game was taught to you and is perspectives. And so we can bring that back now to money. I always want to somehow bring this conversation back to finances and to money. Can we align ourselves to the truth and allow our work to be aligned to that too? And then the question just comes down to my practices, the practices that I have to ground myself so that I can make decisions from that space, not from a scattered place, but really grounded in truth. And the truth is in each one of us. We can recognize it. See, the truth isn't just, we don't need to define it specifically to something, because whatever I define is probably going to be short from what the truth really is. But the truth is something that the Course says is just inalterable. It never changes. Doesn't matter who comes in, who goes out, what timeline it is, it just never changes. It is beyond space and time. Now that would be the truth. So the Course says you don't need to discover the truth. You don't need to actually find out what the definition of truth is for you. That's what we want to do as human beings in this world. We want answers to that thing specific. I just want to know what that is. But the value actually comes from all the things that you've discovered that thing is not. That's where all the inspiration and the power and all of that comes from, is when you discover what things are not, what the truth is not, right? Einstein looking for, is it Einstein? Who created electricity? Not Einstein. Benjamin Franklin, right? That's his name. Oh my God. So shot out. I need to go back to history class. So what did he say? He said that he found 1,000 ways how electricity did not work, right? Like, people would give up, but he just found 1,000 ways. So it's changing the perspectives. Now, if that could change, then it's not the truth. It's just your experience and it's your perspective, because it changes. So the practice for us is to be very diligent to finding everything that the truth is not, or love is not, right? So let's say the sun is the truth. All the clouds are the things that we as human beings end up focusing on. We don't focus on the sun or the rays of the sun, the truth of the sun. What we focus on the clouds, the illusion. See, the clouds is like, well, now the sun's not here anymore because the cloud's blocking it. But you can't touch the cloud. If you touch the cloud, you go right through it, because it's just an illusion. It's hidden something. So then we got to look, and the cloud in all of us is the things that isn't true. It's the perceptions that we have of everything. Right? All the clouds that seem to take something away or add to something that it does not. So we just have to remove the clouds, right? I don't know why this analogy is here, but we just have to remove all the clouds in our lives so that we can see the sun. We can get glimpses of the sun, because once we have a glimpse and once we see the sun, we know it's there. And that's the knowing. And the truth is that the sun is just there. And that's the light and the love in all of us. Now, if I want to see the sun, in myself, and I want to find that light in myself, then I must look beyond to my brothers and sisters. Let me use them as a mirror. And that's the forgiveness process. The forgiveness process is, the Course says that we forgive out of self-interest. We are generous out of self-interest. One second, Natalia, I'm almost done with this thought. I forgive you because I want out of my pain. I forgive you because I want out of my pain. I forgive you so that I can be free of what you did. what you did, quotation marks. I see beyond your mistake to the love that is beyond, so that I can see beyond the mistake of the love in me. If I want to see it in me, I have to practice seeing it in others, because only then can I have a miracle. When I allow the remembering, the witnessing to see the light again. Oh, there's the sun. That's the sun. And the sun is me. The sun is in me. And so we are the host of that truth. We don't need anything specifically. We are built with it. Okay. Go ahead, Natalia.
Hi, good morning. As you said, the clouds, I remembered one of the lessons from the course. It's lesson 69. And I'd like to read a little bit of a paragraph that speaks particularly into that. It was a very powerful practice. And it says, lesson 69, my grievances hide the light of the world in me. From where you stand, you can see no reason to believe there is a brilliant light hidden by the clouds. The clouds seem to be the only reality. They seem to be all there is to see. Therefore, you do not attempt to go through them and past them, which is the only way in which you would be really convinced of their lack of substance. And so they talk about, or the practice is imagining that you are going through the clouds, so like closing your eyes and like and thinking all those thoughts that come in as clouds, and that there is the light, and it's only the clouds that are clouding that light, basically. And so as you said that came up, and so I just wanted to share that. It's lesson 69.
Wow. Okay. Way to grab it right away. I would not have known where in the course I was. I just knew there was an example of clouds somewhere. So that was awesome. Were you like on that lesson, or how did that just happen?
Yeah, it was really a powerful lesson. I'm on lesson 71.
Oh,
72
right
today.
there.
So I just went through it, and I remembered when you said clouds, the whole practice of that day just really came back to me, and I was like, oh, let me pull this up so that I can share with everybody, because it was really powerful. As I closed my eyes and I imagined the clouds, and then just like reaching the light, and it was really beautiful.
Yeah.
The vision of it. So that's how that came about.
Yeah, thank you. And so when we have like the clouds, like everybody, we like our the seeing with our eyes is clouded. Right? We see clouds everywhere, and we think that that's the truth. That's the truth about this person, based on the words that came out of his mouth, based on the clouds around this person. We think that that's the truth of them. Right? We judge people based on their words and their actions. And we are harsh judges, to say the least. We are on that when we sit in that courtroom as the judge, like we are vicious. What does the course say, that the ego is I forget, something like defensive at best and vicious at worst, or something. But we are vicious in our thoughts. When someone does something that triggers us, we will crucify. We will attack. And then we become the victims of those things that come out of our mouth. Right? We say, hey, this person is this, or this situation is this, or I'm always like this, or they're always like this. And then that becomes the truth to us when it's not the truth. So we have to seek to find all the things that are not the truth, which then we will find alignment in ourselves. We will find purpose and alignment in what we do, in the way that we speak with people, that it's always grounded and rooted in truth of some sort. That we recognize that deep-heartedly, that I carry that to my business. I won't change who I am. Doesn't matter what business I am that I'm in. I will bring A Course in Miracles. I will bring my practices to every space that I go to because I'm deeply rooted and grounded in it, in faith, trust, and love. And when anxieties and when these types of things come up, which they do, I'm a human being, stress, anxiety, anger, all this stuff comes up. But can I see what it's for? Can I go for the lessons instead of becoming the problem itself? And so the Course says that you are not responsible for the error, but you are responsible for the correction or the recognition of the correction of the error. We are, and to do that, there's two ways in which you will respond to error. One, you will crucify. Okay, whether you attack yourself or you attack others, you will crucify. The other way is the resurrection. The seeing beyond the mistake and bring the love back to life. There's only two options for you. You're either crucifying or you're resurrecting. And the Course actually says we are afraid more than anything of the resurrection. Yeah, we are afraid that we have done so many things wrong, that we have judged so harshly for so long, that the redemption isn't available for us, that we don't deserve it. That when we meet our Maker, that we would disappoint and we would not forgive him. That's why the Course says we are more afraid of the resurrection. We are more afraid of love. That's why we judge and that's why we attack. But there's good news. The good news is that the Course says the Holy Spirit's with you. It will always remind. And anytime that you do step into the love, into something that is uncomfortable, into forgiving, right? Into something that challenges the story, the belief that you had, that you will be safe. It is a safe space. That the same spirit that flows through you flows through them. And when spirit recognizes spirit, miracles are available. Miracles beyond our comprehension. Money falling from the sky. Just things happening. But we have to do that ourselves. We have to see spirit. And every single moment is a practice of faith. It's a mind shift. It's not something that you just do once and you're done with and you're good. There's a lot of people that are like, yeah, I've done A Course in Miracles before. I've done it before. I'm like, oh, okay. Hey, good morning. There's the Course. There is no the beginner student and the advanced students. I think Marion was talking about this. There's really no difference. The advanced students is just a little more accepting of the text. It's simple, but it's not easy. And that's the thing, because as you're reading it, the ego's reading it. You don't want to hear this. What do you mean that this person didn't hurt us? What do you mean that I should just trust people? Because we can find evidence for all things against that. But see, the thing is, we can also find evidence for all things for it. There's only ever two things happening in your mind. Either you believe or you don't believe. Either you love or you don't. And the vision of one costs you the vision of the other. Right? I was talking to my my wife last night. I mean, she's my greatest teacher. Everything is an opportunity for me to learn, a great reminder. And she was like, do you experience I pay a lot of attention to you? I'm like, yeah, you do. I'm like, if I'm on calls all day, she'll bring me food, remind me to eat, bring me my 10x shot glass of supplements that I gotta take for the day. Bring me water. Like, are you drinking water? She's always paying attention to me. And I'm like, yeah, I do. She's like, well, do you think you do it for me? Oof. I'm like, oh God. I don't know how to answer this question. Right. And then it just kind of went, because in the moment I wasn't spending the quality time with her that she wanted. Right now, she wasn't experiencing the wanting to be in that space right now. So then the vision for her, instead, it went all the way down the rabbit hole of, when I do things for you like this, and I always, think about you, and you don't return that, that's the recipe for divorces. I'm like, oh wow, we're going there. And so but see, the spiral goes further and further. When she was giving, she probably was giving out of love. But in that moment when she is fearful, she took the love away and saw only the darker side of it. And then she'll go down that rabbit hole. Now it's up to me. See, it's not up to her to change the way she speaks or thinks right there. It's up to me to see beyond the error, to see beyond the clouds, to the bright light that I see behind. And so I did get caught up in the defenses for a little bit. I was about to A Course in Miracles her, and then I just stopped. Right? I was like, wait, I need to do nothing. She needs to do nothing. I just gotta see the error and correct it myself. The error is in my mind. See, that's the battlefield right there. That was a temptation from the world to say, hey, let's go, join the battle, right? Unleash your army. I know it's there. And I just got to be the witnesser. I got to witness it, witness the situation, take me out of it, become the third party that's watching this battle play out, and say, I forgive both of it. Right? Because as I'm able to see that, I forgive myself for seeing the dark side too. Right? I was pulled into it. And I was able to forgive myself quickly. That when I see this temptation, when I see drama, when I see anger, when I see this, that it's because it's real in my mind. That means it must be there. She just showed it to me. She showed me that there's a part of me that is still in that space. Judgments, attack. That I also go down that rabbit hole. And so I learned a lot from that situation, from that moment. And it's funny. Once I stopped being engaged in that battle, I was like, okay, I know. You just want some love right now. Let's go watch a movie, give you some physical contact, cuddle you. And she's like, yeah, that's it. And then it just became, it changed. The whole vibe changed. Now, if I wasn't in the practice, I could have engaged that conversation and created more division. Even though I thought I was right, I could be defending myself. Right? And then so what ends up happening if you go down one rabbit hole is that was a miracle moment for me. It was a miracle moment for her. We both got to have it. And going down the other rabbit hole, what could have happened is I defend myself, she defends herself, and then we get into playing find the bad guy. Who's the bad guy here? Right? We start battling each other over it. And then maybe she goes and tells her girlfriends, and then I go tell my friends, and I come on the ACIM call, and I'm like, my wife this and this and that, and we just start gossiping, and we bring other people. We're trying to get other people into this same vision, and we're masters at it. We are masters at enrollment, which really, for anybody out there that's listening, that's like capital raising is hard. You are the master at it. You just haven't believed it as much as you believe your own stories. Because your own stories, you will enroll the entire world into your stories. We will find ways to do it. Enrollment, capital raising is the same thing. And so do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy? Right? That's one of the most famous sayings from the Course. Do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy? Is your goal to summon co-complainers? Right? Is your goal to summon more co-complainers who would join you in the thought that you were the victim? Because she can be the victim, and then I can also say I'm the victim. We both can say the same thing. So we're just playing with the clouds. Like, it doesn't, the clouds are the illusions. And then we make each other that instead of the sun that is behind it. That's the truth. Right? So we are not responsible for the error that occurred. The error that occurred in that conversation, neither of us are responsible for it, but we are responsible for the correction of that error. And that responsibility comes, the correction of it comes from giving it up. We give it up to spirit. We let spirit handle it. That anything that's happening is beyond our comprehension of why it's happening, of the lives it can touch, the ripple effects of it. So, yeah. Thoughts? Anybody want to share anything? Welcome, Claudia. Welcome, Marlene. And one of the in Marion's book, The Divine Compensation, I remember she wrote something that in there that says that, Christ cannot be crucified. See, the body, the illusion could, the identity could, but the truth cannot. The truth of who we are cannot be crucified. We can only crucify ourselves moment to moment. But the great thing is you can't go down the rabbit hole too much to an extent where you can't come back. To the Holy Spirit, like that, in an instant, miracles can shower you entirely. There is no going too far down the rabbit hole. See, going too far down the rabbit hole requires our judgment still. Oof, I've just gone down this rabbit hole for way too long that I can't change. All of it, limiting beliefs. Right? But the simplicity of the Course, so that in a moment, it can turn around. Either you have to get to a point where you hit rock bottom and you finally decide that nothing that you've chosen, none of the decisions you've ever made is working for you. And if we keep making our own decisions and we keep being that judge, we will get there. All of us will get there if we keep doing that. Every day, every moment, every situation that comes up is a moment for us to release. Practice. Practice to release. Open up that channel between you and Source. That's why the Course says prayer is a median for miracles. That we begin to open and consciously open that channel up ourselves. Right. So, okay. What else? I actually wrote things down last week.
Alex, Antoine, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please.
So that was really, really good. The example you gave about the scenario last night when she was giving you all the gift of service, and then she was like, how about me? And you're like, oops. Uh, so, that happens to all of us, I'm sure. And as you were saying it, I was imagining what my body language would have been like, the tension that I would have, would have tightened up a little bit, and that temptation of defensive mode, you know, can be a paradigm or a reflex that we just like go into automatically. I would love for you to rewind a little bit and in that moment, describe to me how you kind of flipped it around the right way.
Yeah. So first thing is that there sometimes silence is the best response. Right now, we're not comfortable with silence. This is why meditation is great for us, because it allows us more silence. It's the beauty of music is not in the notes, it's the silence between the notes. How long can we hold that silence and be comfortable with silence? So in those moments when that comes up for me, I just stop myself, because I know I'm about to go into insanity. I know the feeling of wanting to defend. I know when I'm about to open the gates and let the army out and start the battle. Like, I know it. I have a relationship to my triggers and to my body. I use my body as a device to tell me, just like you said, there's a tension that comes. I have a tension that comes. I also stop looking her in the eyes. I'll look at next to her face. Like, I know when it comes up, but I have to become conscious of that over time. Right? Because I used to get angry and react that way as well. I'm like, what'd you say to me? But I don't look at them in the eye. I'm like looking right next to their face before like a fight breaks out. What'd you say? But I'm not looking at them, looking right next to them. So I know myself, right? And so I just stop and be silent. Right? Be silent and be like, okay, Spirit, just flow through me and tell me what to do now. See, in the beginning, it's that like, it's the same imposter syndrome. Like, what do you mean? Who's going to tell me what to do right now? I don't really believe that I'm going to get the answer immediately. But as you really rest yourself into that space, that you can call upon the Spirit to solve a problem for you right now, in an instant, then it will be answered. Because the moment that a question could even arise, the answer has already been there. That's the thing. The question doesn't come first. The answer's already there. The fact that we can even come up with the question, the answer's already there. So again, it brings back down to faith. How fast can you surrender in that moment? Can you just let go of all this tense energy, wanting to be right now? And allowing Spirit to come in and say, and shift your mind. And it does. The Spirit comes and shifts my mind right away. Like, I'll get stressed, immediately give it up. Sometimes it takes a while, and sometimes it just keeps coming back, and I just got to keep giving it up, and just over and over and over again. I'm like, how long am I going to do this all day? And we all have those anxieties and stresses. It doesn't matter if it's money or about kids or about whatever. We all have that come up. So, it's about stopping and just saying, all right, something come and interfere, right? God, you know what's happening here. I don't. All I want is to heal my mind right now. And I'm giving it over to you to heal it. And that's our biggest obstacle, is to be able to give it over, because we're like, no, I got to keep thinking it through myself. Your capacity to see is so limited that you can't possibly think your way out of it. And until you've recognized that you can't do it, you're not capable. Even when you judge things, the way to end judgments is to recognize that you are not capable of judging. You are looking at a movie theater through a little pinhole of the whole movie. Imagine going to the movies and we're just looking through a little pinhole trying to watch the movie. There is no way you can tell me what's going on in the movie. And that's us trying to judge. It's silly. And then until we can think that it is silly, and then I smile upon it, right? Smiling like I can't, even though I can't see, but I trust. I trust that everybody else looking through the pinholes, they see exactly what they need to see to recognize that all they're doing is seeing through a pinhole. And that as a whole, we can just give it all up to a greater power, to God, to the Holy Spirit. Okay, go ahead, Jessica. And then I'll get back to you, Antoine.
Okay, well, this is a little bit in response to what Antoine was asking also. We can't have this conversation about the battlefields without me chiming in, because I've had my challenges on the battlefield for sure, many challenges. And what I found is that at the beginning, I first learned the practice of how to lay down, and I thought it was just a matter of me laying down my shield and my sword, and I would do it, but I would realize, I realized that it's still, the triggers would still come up. I lay it down, and then something else would happen, and then here I go, I pick it up again, and I'm ready to get the battle. And what I've learned over here through A Course in Miracles, through Alex and in the study, is that I realized that what was doing wrong is I was laying down my sword and my shield, but I was not walking off the battlefield, which wouldn't close the door for me to be able to pick it up again. And over here, what I learned here was that those key words: do I want to be right, or do I want to be happy? Just those words alone are usually what gets me to snap out of it and realize that I'm fighting a battle that I'm never going to win. And I've done it so many times before, and I already know what the result is when I go down that rabbit hole. But it's always unnerving. It's always, catastrophic for me to recover from. So through those words, just by saying to myself, do I want to be right, or do I want to be happy? And of course, it's always happy. That's what finally lets me walk off the battlefield and not get triggered again by whatever the next offense is going to be. I just realized at that point, I don't have a sword and a shield, and I'm not in the battlefield, so I better let this shit go right now, because I have no way of defending myself, because I already chosen that I'm going to be happy. And that's what's worked for me.
Yeah, and what you were saying right there, Jess, of like you put it down, but you didn't get off the battlefield. I had an image of just putting the sword and the shield down, but you're just sitting there holding on to both of them still. Like, I ain't getting off the battlefield. Something's gonna happen. I better still have access to it. Right? Like, you're not tossing it and be like, all right, see you later, sword and shield. I don't need it anymore. You're ready. Yeah, exactly. You're ready to pick it back up. Right? And you're
put him down, but right there, right next to me,
just in case. The just in case I need my sword and my shield, has your mind look for reasons why you need to be here with it, why those still are needed. So you didn't technically put it down. Technically, you're just holding it and not participating in the battle for the moment, but you're looking for the right battle to participate in. Because that is still there. If you still feel the need to have a sword and a shield, you still see that there is error in the world, and it's not safe. They say that the people that have guns are people that actually get into situations where guns are required. Majority. And it's the same thing, because the thought of needing it draws you to it. The ego doesn't know. The ego's like, oh, well, you still need the sword and shield. Let's justify why you're still sitting here holding it. Let's find something to slash, right? Let's find the problem in the world that I can be a hero with. That somehow picking up your sword or your shield makes you a hero at some point. And then we confuse the crap out of ourselves. That we thought we were doing something out of justice or righteousness. But let me put it all down. So it's about identifying, I'll get to you in a second, Marlene. It's about identifying the things that has us feel like we still need to have our hands on the sword and the shield. Yeah, the law of attraction. Yeah. What you make real in your mind and what you speak out of your mouth, you are literally calling to it. When we speak it, we've gotten to a point where we believe it so much that I need to speak it out, that somebody needs to hear it. Hence making it even more real and more of the truth for you. You know, that's why a lot of times, I speak a lot, but then I also don't speak a lot. I don't know if that makes sense, but it does to me. Okay, Marlene, go ahead.
What is coming up for me, and especially thank you, Jess, for your always share so openly, like so real. And what is coming up for me is what you always say is in the course, like truth does not need any defense. But on the other hand, it's coming up like, okay, so what is going to stop people from walking all over you then, if you don't defend yourself? And I don't know if that makes any sense for anybody else, but that's what it's, my automatic thought. And it's in all walk of life, right? Like at work, in personal situations, whenever a family conflict comes, if I don't defend myself, if I don't say my truth, who is going to? So that's what's coming up for me. How do you see that?
Yeah, I mean, we like I said, we can find situations and evidence of why we need the sword, that it isn't safe. We can always find that. But see, when you focus on that, the vision of one world costs you the vision of the other, right? All of a sudden, the safe in the loving world disappears in your mind. Now, which one do you focus on more? This is why these practices are so important for us, because it's to ground our minds, is to remind our minds that, okay, let me look towards love today. Let me look towards love this moment that I can trust. And as you say, I can trust, and you believe in it, you start to live that, you start to call that forward to you. Because the ego, even though the ego works a certain way, the ego is very consistent on the way it works. Just like the Holy Spirit works a certain way, but it's very consistent in how it works, is that when you believe something, you will call it to you to make that's how righteous we want. That's how much being right that we want. Right? So can we use that to our advantage? Let me be right about that the world is worth investing in, that the world is worth loving. Let me be right about that. Now that takes the practice. That takes practice every day. That's why gratitude practices are pretty important for us, because it lets our mind for a couple moments think about the things that we're grateful for. And then we look towards more of that. We look to create more of it, because everything's always in expansion. That is always going to happen. It's always expanding. Your ideas are always expanding. You are always sharing. You're always teaching. Jersey in the building. Let's go. I grew up in Jersey. So the law of expansion is that what energy that we give to it expands. Now, most of us unconsciously give all of our energies towards all the worries and the anxieties and the what ifs, and the world isn't safe, and somebody's going to hurt me and this and that. See, that the forgiveness in there isn't for other people. I'm not forgiving other people for their actions. I'm forgiving myself for seeing myself as weak and vulnerable. I am an extension of God. And if I see myself as weak and vulnerable, this is our disobedience, really, our authority problem. The Course calls it the authority problem, and that's why we all have authority problems, is that since I'm an extension of God and I see myself as vulnerable and weak and that people can hurt me all the time, then by extension, I will see God as that, and I can dethrone God. That in this moment, God, you aren't in the picture. You got this wrong. You got this wrong. I got it right. What the insanity of that, right? And that's the authority problem. We all got it. So we have authority problems with authority, governments, parents, religious institutions. Like we always have somewhere a problem with authority, because we think that people that have authority does not have the same desires as us, that they want something evil. They want control. They want power. They want this. And this is what all the conspiracy theories come from. And I'm a freaking expert in that, because that's how I've always been my whole life. I still do. When they start talking about inflation and interest rates and all that, my mind directly goes to conspiracy stuff. I can't even help it. It's because I've just been sitting in that for so long. But, there's another part of me that's like, somebody, spirit, you go handle it. I can't do anything about it. Right? I need do nothing about it, because there's nothing wrong with what's even happening. There's just an expansion with me seeing something wrong with expansion happening, because it's not serving me or my industry or whatever. Like, we make shit up. It's probably serving somebody. So should it serve me more than it serves to somebody else? So you just give it all up, because all of that creates drama and creates things that you have no idea. And then you start talking about it, and we just spew poison. We literally just talk nonsense out of our asses sometimes when we start talking about these things. So again, silence sometimes is the best solution. Go ahead, Antoine.
I really, really love that question, because it reminded me, coming to this class and just learning and growing. So if I pick to be love and to be grateful as a person, and I'm taking those emotions and wrapping it around my heart, my core, whatever your core is. And then tomorrow, somebody is poking at you, trying to trigger you, and you're like walking in this movie, and you're like, oh yeah, that guy's trying to poke me now. But you're feeling that flow, that vibe of love, God, all the time, and you can see it coming. Okay, I recognize that one, right? And then you're able to say, I'm grateful for this experience, because gratefulness, you start seeing every experience. Nothing is bad or good. Even the bad ones are coming to you to teach you or to help you grow in that moment. So you start seeing that experience as a grateful experience. Okay, this is happening to me. I can choose peace, or I can choose, whatever, right? Okay, to me, that helped calm me down in that situation where they're poking me. I'm actually listening better than before. Because if I get triggered and I'm angry, then my brain is out the window. Now I'm like, I'm actually listening. I'm practicing an active listening. And to this, I actually diffuse the situation because I'm so calm. I'm repeating what they said. Did you mean to say this? And I'll say this and I'll say this. And then I'm like, and then I'll pause. And then, so they come at you hot and you're all cold. And then you can actually, for me, through the grace of God, I'm able to actually get out of that situation, because I'm operating with love. Like I think Alex was saying, if you don't separate from God, God will, bless you in that moment. You will find strength, you will find wisdom, the right things to say. Sometimes I just apologize because before I could be wrong, but then the way the person approached me, the tone of the voice or whatever, the body language will trigger me. Who do you think you are? Now it's like, oh, I'm sorry. And then it just squashes right there. And they're like, stumble that they didn't win. They didn't shift you out of the, your love and your gratefulness. And I've seen that work over and over now, because I'm just like, I'm sorry, instead of being defensive or whatever. Or if they abuse it or whatever, I've also learned how to block things. Now that I know that at my conscious level, I can choose to reject or block. And if somebody's coming to you from a place of fear, from a place of angry, and you can see, they're trying to loop me in. Like, okay, I'm sorry, but I think, I'm not interested. You find a way to get out
Yeah.
Alex would probably say it better.
No. You said it really well, actually. I was about to say that you said it better, more elegantly than I could have said it. So, but here's a caveat. Okay. Here's a caveat. Anything taken to an extreme will become a weapon. So I'm sorry, like that could become a weapon for you as well to justify the fact that people are insane. Others are insane. See, the fact that I still see it, being a witnesser to the situation is great. Every situation causes the new moment. But when we take any virtue taken, this is one of my brothers telling me this. Any virtue taken to extreme becomes a vice. Any assets taken to an extreme becomes a liability. So it's about letting each moment be its moment, because if you carry something from the past, you're now going to start looking like even the oh, do I do it this way or that way? It's still choosing between the sword and the shield. At some point, you pick it back up. That people could come at you in a certain way instead of, oh, I'm just perceiving it. And you're on the right path. You're interrupting a pattern that's happening in the matrix. You're like there's a something in the matrix. What's the saying? A glitch. A glitch in the matrix. You're the glitch. You interrupted a pattern, which is awesome, but know that the pattern is only for you. You've interrupted a pattern for yourself. Now, where do you shift it to? Because at some point, someone coming at you all hostile doesn't seem like hostile anymore. Right? And it's great. You didn't participate in something, but in your mind, at some point, are you still shaming or guilting or wronging that this person is approaching this way? Right? The lessons go deep. The advanced students of A Course in Miracles understands that you are a witnesser to your mind all the time. That is the only thing that's going down. That situation playing out isn't even really happening. I'm a witnesser to my own reactions. I want peace. Oh, so I'm a witnesser. I know now, I expect that if I want peace and love, that the universe and God will continue to bring things your way and say, is this what you want? Is this what you want? And you recognize, oh, well, that's not what I want. So, I'm not even going to give any attention to it. Right? Because the more attention you give to something, even if your attention is, I don't want it, you gave attention to it and it became bigger. So even the I don't want, see, that's why we focus in our transformational work. In my coaching and everything that I do with our students, like we focus on just the declaration. I'm like, let's declare it. We're not going to not declare something, or we're going to say, let's not have this happen. Declare into this happening. The more you speak into this happening, that grows. The more you speak into I don't want this, that grows. It's kind of like snowboarding or anything else that requires extreme sports or whatever. If you're on a board, wherever you look, you end up going towards. When I teach people to snowboard, I'm like, look at where you want to go. Right? And to carve, you literally look right here to your 10 o'clock or whatever, and then look to your 2 o'clock. Like, look to it. Look your head and your body will follow. Oh man, I miss snowboarding. Okay. Yeah, so thank you, Antoine, for every week having just such amazing contribution and shares. So Marlene, you too, and Jess, like you guys just bring all the value in here and co-generate, like actively co-generate the conversation, and everybody that's here, like just by being here, you're generating the conversation. Okay, so yeah, what else? Natalia, do you want to share anything about the Tuesday call? Marion Williamson's Tuesday calls?
Not at this time. I'm having a moment with Joan.
Oh, okay, no worries.
Acting up, I'm sorry.
Alex, I want to follow up. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you were saying that we could go level deep. So one thing is witnessing, one thing is declaring, and I think you had given hints to a third layer, but you didn't touch on, you didn't follow up on it. Do you remember? How deep can you go, basically?
Physically?
No. Basically, how deep could it go? Like, okay, you're witnessing this. Okay, you can blame. Instead of blaming, don't blame. And then I think you said, you started talking about declare. Don't say, I don't want to be part of this, but declare something in that moment, which I thought was very powerful. And I was hoping there were more layers to that beyond just declaring.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing. When I say the depth of something, there's more layers, I'm not talking about layers in this way, in depth, in like deepness. I'm talking about layers. It's all on the surface. Like it goes horizontal, not vertically down. Because if we see it as vertically, we think there is more to it. When you look at it horizontal, it's just the next thing. Right. So it doesn't make it more challenging or anything like that. So, I don't know about the third level. I forgot what I was saying about that. But when we're focused on what we want, right, then that becomes bigger because we're giving energy to the wanting of it. But oftentimes what people say is what I don't want. What I don't want, you just spoke energy into it, right? The universe doesn't hear the don't. The universe just hears, oh, energy's been giving here, it grows. So what you don't want end up being something that you get more of. And that's one thing that we can take away from this call is like just knowing and becoming conscious to our speaking. Man, I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to happen. Really hope it doesn't happen. Oh man, I don't want that to happen. How much do we give energy to that versus this is what's going to happen? I want this to happen. I can see this is why like envisioning things powerful. Envisioning it as if you already had it. Why is that a practice across the board for success? For transformation, for mind shifts, for creating and manifesting. Why is meditation like that? Vision boards. It's a practice. None of it is really anything besides the fact that we want focus and attention and energy to that. I see it. I see my vision board, right? I see the things that I said I wanted. Speaking of which, that's it. Today I'm hanging my vision board in front of me. I know last year, I remember when we created this vision board, it was in front of our bed, so we saw it all the time. Now it's sitting on an altar that I don't see ever. Taking it out of there. Yeah. Okay. Good job. Good point. Good call, Antoine. All right. So does that kind of answer your question? I don't know. I don't know.
It is. I like to think in dimensions. I like your initial reaction about don't think you have to go vertical. Sometimes things are horizontal. That kind of gave me a vision of a ripple effect on a wave or something like that. So I'm still digesting it. And also, I think when we're in the moment, feelings are involved. You're trying to be, loved and grateful. And then you can see somebody's trying to maybe pull you into maybe anger or sadness or whatever, or fear. And so it feels like a language of feelings in the moment. When you speak of it later, you can say, I don't want to be angry. But I think what I was picking up also was that this is the language of feelings. So in the moment, this is a war of feelings, or some feelings, love is maybe it's more than feeling, but in the moment, what I'm taking away is that this is a battle of feelings. So, keeping your cool, staying focused. I'm still processing the information, but what I'm gathering is, yeah, you know, later you can maybe in the moment you can project also, hey, I just want to love you right now. I don't want to hurt your feelings by saying something bad. So, that declaration and that affirmation in the moment maybe would also help me conquer those situations. But we'll see.
Yeah, and again, the same thing. I don't want to hurt your feelings. It's like people say, I don't want to be rude, and then persist to just be rude right after that. Like, I'm not racist, but, and it's like, oh God, here comes the racist comment, right? So, it's the same thing. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but your shirt's ugly. Oh God. It's like, all right, why did I even say I don't want to hurt your feelings? It's like, I want love. I want love in this space. I want peace. Right? It's like awkward for us to do because we want the I don't want. I don't mean to be offensive right here. And then the offensive comment's gonna come. Right? Like we can literally laugh at how silly we are just off of these examples and what we do. And so can we smile upon all of it? That's the lesson here every day is, can I just be a witnesser and smile upon all the things that's happening? Smile at the chaos that's happening. Smile at the fact that I just participated in all this chaos. Right? You don't have to judge the world, but you definitely don't have to judge yourself. And it's the forgiveness process. We keep clearing that in our minds until thank you. Until we are more unconsciously operating from love. We've programmed that subconscious mind. I always give credit to Bob Proctor for that concept. The conscious mind and the unconscious mind. Right? And how do we train our unconscious mind? Our unconscious mind may need constant reinforcement until it becomes unconscious. But you're consciously doing it. Every time you unconsciously do something, you reprogram the unconscious mind as well. So if you are someone that falls into a lot more victim conversations, your automatic from your unconscious mind is to be a victim to things. Now, taking that power back requires a constant shift, a conscious shift. And as you keep doing it, you will reprogram the subconscious mind, and it will be coming from a conscious place after that. Or the reaction will be out of strength and love and power instead of being a victim. Yeah, work on the vision board. It's fun to do. It's a good group activity to do as well. So if you want to just create some even family vision board and things like that, it just brings you guys a little bit closer to share something together. And I shared last week that our knowledge and our it can't be directly shared, right? Like our experiences, what we've gone through, it can't be directly shared with somebody that they would actually get it. It would just be a good story. But vision can be shared. See, vision is what's possible. We can share the exciting feelings together about going after a vision. And some people are visionaries by nature, but we all are. We have just blocked that skill or that talent. What's up, Larry? Okay. So yeah, this is a super, super good conversation. What else? Anybody want to share anything else? on any of the channels. If you want to type something, I can see it. I can read it.
Alex,
Yeah. Hey.
your comments about authority issues just applies, that applies so to everything, really. I've always, or more in the last couple of decades anyway, focused on what I want because I realize we can't focus on what we don't want. But I love the way you framed it, and it just applies to so much, whether it's fear of anything around us or something happening or being triggered, no matter what it is. So I appreciate that. I like the way you framed it and the way you described it. Also, thank you for the vision board reminder, because I have one that's really out of date and I'm going to get mine updated. Thank you for everything today and for all the people who contributed.
Yeah, thanks. Maybe one of these days we'll do a collective online vision board, like a little workshop thing, because everybody talks about doing it, but nobody actually does it. We all get too busy to do our vision board.
Alex, do you have any help or any books that can help you create a vision board? I've heard people say, all I do is write things down, but what's a vision board? Is there like, how did you get started?
Yeah, you don't need to read a book on it. You just think about the stuff that you want for this year, that you want to manifest into your life, and you just go cut out pictures, print out pictures, write out words, and just spend some time. Like it's oh, there it goes.
Like that. Just cut out things.
Yeah, it's a good exercise. Do it with the family, you know, make a family vision board. Like, hey, what do you guys want to see this year? What do you guys want to have happen this year? Let's put some things on here. Right? It could be in what we do also is we look at the wheel of life. Okay, we look at relationships, we look at career, we look at recreation, we look at, you know, our spiritual faith, we look at all of that, and then we start to think, what do I want in each of these wheels? And as we come up with it, we either find it in a magazine, or, you know, the easiest way is now just find it online and print it out and then stick it on there, you know. But the magazine part is cool, you know, like the going through the magazines, because they just sit there anyways. So you might as well find some cool things in it and cut it out. It's the process of it is, you know, you're giving, even in that moment, it's like you're doing the vision board, but you're praying for it to happen. You know, you're like in a meditation, like a prayer, while you're creating the vision board. Yeah. Now, if you want to go deeper into it, spend the time creating the vision board. And you know, a lot of the things we do is like, and then later on, like, burn it. You know, can you create a level of detachment too? Like, I want these things, but also not attaching to it. Right? Like, you create it, you gave it the proper thought, you gave it the proper things, and then, you know, and then burn it. Like, that's the ultimate practice is that every moment is ever changing. Because, yeah, this is what I wanted in this moment, but now that I put it on the vision board, I'm gonna let it go, and what's gonna come is gonna come. It's already been put out there, and then let's see what this new moment brings. You know, that's why there's like Eastern practice. They create this elaborate art in sand. Like, they spent just every moment co-creating this art in sand, different colors, and it's crazy beautiful. And once they're done, do a little prayer, and then they erase the whole thing. Crazy. I mean, I would be like, oh, let me frame this thing and freaking put it there so it's there forever. It's only there for a period of time anyways, you know? Yeah. You know, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna write this down, make a vision board, and then create a little fire ceremony in my backyard for it. Yeah, like in my time, I've done a lot of these fire ceremonies where we let go of things, especially if you're in like kind of in a like uh space for all night and then giving something up to the fire at the end, like the prayers of it. It's cool. Like we were sitting in Peru and one of my brothers had a great and we can all do this. Like you really give it the energy. Like you sit and you think about all the past, and this is a letting go of some people, and when you think about when you're in a serious relationship, right? Like you're married, or you really love your partner and you want to keep this like pure and stuff. You think about all the past relationships you've had. You give it the proper like thank you and the proper giving up, and there's a string for every relationship you had, like past relationships. You tie a knot, you close that off, and then the next one you tie a knot, you close it off, and we do that for a while, and everyone sitting inside the circle in the teepee is doing it, just really giving it up. People kind of like, some people start like crying and stuff while it's happening, and it's just beautiful. And you give it all up, and even things that you've hurt, like the planet, you can go as far as you want with it, but the point of it is to tie up all of your past like love or intimate relationships, and then we put it on this, everybody puts it together onto this one piece of board, and then we offer it up to the fire. Super powerful. Like we don't recognize the power of intention. Like in those moments is intention to the max, right? And when you do it in community, see, this is the thing. I love community. I love building communities, because in community, the power is amplified. The power of creation is amplified. The power of the prayer is amplified. The power of belief is amplified. And in community, we can go so much further. So, yeah. Vision board. That's what I'm. Vision board, fire. Hopefully I understand what my notes say. I just wrote vision board, fire. Put in fire. All right. That'll be fun. Me and my wife will do something like that. Our dogs are the greatest teachers.
I was able to not engage and just like, okay, you're asking for love right now. And I just like loved up on him, and he appreciated that. He wanted the attention and the recognition and the love. And so it's like, okay, let me give it to you right now instead of like engaging in war.
Yeah, instead of like, get off me. Like later.
I'm like, oh, come here.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right, so I guess I'll read something from the book, that Brooke also got, that I was really excited about her getting, but I didn't express it in text.
I know he was all cool or something. I was like, you know what, Alex, calm down. You're too excited. I was all excited for the freaking book. And then I'm like, look, Alex, I got it. It's delivered. And he's all cool. I'm like,
No, I said
what is
yay.
caffeine in your life?
I
You're
said
very
yay.
You're caffeine or alcohol. I'm like, you're not excited. Whatever.
Oh man, I laughed. I laughed, and I am excited. I just, texting is just not really my thing that much.
Yeah.
If you called me though, it would have been a different story. You should have videoed me.
Okay, noted.
Noted.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay, so, what should we talk about? I flipped to a page. There's two things. All of us are special. None of us are special. My spiritual journey is a meaning of my life. Okay, I like that one. Let's go with that one. These are the two that I opened up to. So, In the book, Now Brooke Can Follow, day 249, my spiritual journey is the meaning of my life. Spirituality is an inner fire, the mystical substance that feeds my soul. My spiritual journey drives me into myself, to a sacred flame at the center of my being. This journey gives me eyes to see and the inner strength to live the mystery of the real. Walking the roads of the outer journey, outside the blaze of mystical truth, I am cold and spiritually lifeless. I am less than my potential when I am lost within the illusions of the world. Today, I awake to the world beyond the veil and find the meaning of my life at last. May, may my eyes be open today that they might penetrate the darkness of a world that has forgotten love. May my ears be open to hear the cries of the heart that goes out from every soul. May I not be tempted by the thinking of the world to forget why I am here. My spiritual journey is the meaning of life. Whew. Yeah. You know, like that's my path, and I pray and I hope that everybody finds this fire, that you walk with your spiritual journey, that you know this is your journey. And your spiritual journey sometimes walks through financial, sometimes walks through this, walks through that, but it goes with you everywhere, knowing that that's the path. That's the path, and along the way you will see people cry out to you, and that we have the awareness in those moments to respond and answer the call, to respond with love when people are calling for love, that we don't become too busy with the outside world, with the illusions that are offered in this world. May we respond to the you know, the love that people are calling out for, that people are craving and desiring, but masked it up with, you know, all the busyness of life. Yeah. So hopefully these calls serve as that for me. I remember, you know, after these calls, I always feel a lot more aware and awake, you know, because throughout the week I get busy too. If it wasn't for these 2 Wednesday and Sunday calls, I would be in the drift much, much more. You know, recently I've noticed myself actually forgetting to read the course. You know, I'll go a day or two without reading anything or listening to anything that's course related, and I'm like, oh my God. You know, like I just get so busy and so caught up in the drift. Go ahead, Marlene.
Alex, I don't know, I just felt like I needed to say this too.
Do it.
It's what brought me to you and the Legends group was this call and your message. And I know you're going through a lot of growth there. And I kind of went a little quiet because I can feel the turmoil. I don't know if that makes any sense to you right now, but I could hear things. I try not to participate, but it's sometimes a little heavy. So my reminder to you is that you go back to why you started it and your intentions. I truly believe this. It's more important that what you do or stop doing or you say or don't say, or you keep quiet, are the intentions behind what we do or don't do. So as long as those intentions are pure and clear and good in heart, you're good. And I know that to be true for my journey and everybody's journey for that matter. So I just wanted to remind you that.
Thank you. Yep. you know, there are definitely when you're trying to do big things, it's also good to slow down and have these types of moments, you know, where we truly get to connect and see each other for the beautiful souls that we are, you know. So thank you. Thank you for that. And also thank you for the courage to always share now on every call. And you used to start with I don't know if I can share. Now you just go right into share. Like I feel the calling to share and I'm sharing. So that's beautiful. Awesome.
As I said, it's a big trigger once you started sharing on social media and but it's you know, that is the reason why now I need to just keep on doing it.
Hmm.
And be when you say let's call Alex, by the way, it's after me commenting, you know, that you're always very real. You said this is all I can do. I can do me, you know, like I can only do me really authentically. And I think only good things come out of something like that when we have the courage to step into who we really are and not what people are expecting us to be.
Hmm.
So thank you. And once you do that, you give the almost like you give permission to others to do the same. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, thank you. And thank you for you know, and doing it, stepping up and doing it. Yeah.
I want to add to that, Marlene, that the fact that it does go into social media, you don't know, every time you do share, it's always a powerful share and it's meaningful. So you don't know how many people's lives you're gonna be touching when you do share. There's other people who will be watching besides the people that are on this call, and you never know. You know, it's that butterfly effect. You know, how many people down the road are gonna hear something you're gonna say, and it could change their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Jess.
People are gonna judge you, and people aren't really paying that much attention to you either. that's also the thing. I'm like, I would be shocked if somebody actually watched to this point of a replay on my Instagram or LinkedIn or something about on this call. Now I know there's a couple people who watches the replay of this for sure. But I think majority of the people come on, they catch a little glimpses of it, and then they're like, okay, let me go on with my life. Hopefully every moment there's love and there's things that could be taken away. So people come on, they're like, oh my God, Alex has been doing this live for freaking ever. He's still live. You know, they checked their Instagram like 7 times already, and I'm still live. People are like, I gotta check it out. So yo. No, you go.
No, I'm just gonna say there's actually an invisible manifestation that's happening of this call. The numbers might not look big. When you put it out in the ether, you don't really know who is benefiting from it. But I'm here to witness to you that it is happening. You know, every life that you touch here, we go ahead and touch maybe 20 and 30 other lives, and then they also touch other lives. So there is that ripple effect for sure, and there is that invisible manifestation for sure. And I just wanted to testify to that. Now, the way I carry myself in my family is going to have generational impacts to my kids and their kids. So think about all of that as well. So thank you for what you did.
Yeah, and you know, making an impact is just like we make an impact to the best of our abilities, and the ripple effect of that we will never be able to see, and that just requires faith and trust. You know, and I actually, you know, speaking of like making an impact, and each of us making an impact, I was just creating, you know, our online new community platform that we're building out. And I actually started with this a couple stories that inspire. And some of you guys know there's the 100th monkey, and then there's also the starfish story. So I'm gonna actually just close our call by reading the starfish story. And so, I wrote in here and I'll post it in our group chat too. The story is to remind us that our actions can make a difference. Even though we may face overwhelming challenges, we have the ability to positively impact someone's life. By taking action and showing compassion, we can create a ripple effect of kindness that spreads beyond what we can see. It is my hope that this story encourages you to embrace your personal responsibility and never underestimate the significance of your actions, as they have the potential to change lives and make the world a better place, one starfish at a time. So here's the story, the starfish story. Once upon a time, there was an old man who used to take long walks on the beach. One day, as he strolled along the shore, he noticed a vast number of starfish stranded on the sand. The tide had gone out, leaving them exposed and unable to return to the water. As the man looked at the stranded starfish, he felt a deep sense of compassion and concern for their well being. He knew that without help, they would perish under the scorching sun. Determined to make a difference, the old man bent down, picked up a single starfish, and gently tossed it back into the ocean. A young boy happened to be passing by and witnessed the old man's action. Curious, he approached and asked, "Why do you bother to throw the starfish back in the sea? There are so many of them, you can't possibly make a difference." Smiling, the old man picked up another starfish and replied, "You're right, young man. There are indeed many starfish stranded here, but for the ones that I can help, I make a difference." With that, he threw the starfish back into the water. The young boy paused for a moment, contemplating the old man's words, realizing the wisdom in what he had just witnessed. He joined the effort. The two of them continued picking up the starfish one by one and returning them to the ocean. Soon, the other people noticed their actions and began to assist as well. The beach became a flurry of activity as individuals joined forces to save as many starfish as possible. Each person recognized the significance of their small actions, knowing that it meant the world to the starfish that they were able to rescue. While they couldn't save every starfish, the collective efforts of those on the beach made a profound impact on the lives they've touched. And as the old man said, for each starfish they saved, they truly made a difference. And so it's like reaching out and touching people's lives. For me, it's literally to remind people of the spiritual journey that they're on, that there is something greater beyond all of that stuff, and that's the starfish. And so, we call people that we bring into these spaces our starfish, right? And on some level, I consider all of you guys my starfish, and I was someone else's starfish, and then someone's going to be your starfish. So yeah, each one of us today can make that impact, and let's go and do it. Small acts of kindness makes the world of difference. So okay, yeah, that's I'm building out our community, and it's hard for me to write things into words, so it's actually better for me to tell stories, right? So there's a couple stories I'm putting in there. There's the bamboo story, there's the 100th monkey. So yeah, and then I'm also creating I'm actually creating free courses on the books that have impacted and changed my life. And I'm creating the free courses that comes with the worksheets and things like that to really make a difference. You don't have to read the book, right? But it's good to encourage you to read the book. But I'm literally just shortening it. And the first one that I worked on is Busting Loose from the Money Game. If anybody has read that book, like, life-changing. It's literally A Course in Miracles talking about money mindset. All right, so Busting Loose from the Money Game, and I've just created a little workshop for it, and I'm going to film some videos for it today. And that will be available soon, and it's just going to be free, and it's going to be one of the reasons why you want to join our community page. And hopefully people start to be inspired and create their own little mini courses on things that inspire them, and then the community will grow that way. Yeah, so right now it's called It's got a name of Legends U Estate, like the estate of you, but it's I think it's gonna become shortened into Legends U, like Legends Universe or Legends Sphere, something like that. I'm open to ideas of names. So if that comes through to anybody that's just like, a community that you're building, this word or this thing came to my yes, it is. Came to my thoughts as I was thinking of you. That would be great to let me know, and I'm open to whatever it the name's gonna be.
Hey, Alex.
Yo.
Yo. So when you were talking about the starfish story, isn't it true that starfish, when they break a leg, one of their little legs, where this thing, it grows back, right? So isn't that true?
I hear that it's got so much like consciousness that you can cut a starfish in half and it turns into two starfish.
And that's great for life. And I was thinking this while you were doing that is a lot of times we get cut, we get split, so to speak, but over time we become whole again. So I was thinking about that. I'm like, you know what? That's starfish. I never thought of it in that way, but I liked the story, and then it started making me think of that situation too, where they get cut, something happens, and they grow back again, which is cool.
You should create a part 2 to that story.
Right.
Another lesson of life.
I know.
Or a children's book.
I know it always comes back, but yeah, that's cool. I like that because too many times people get stuck. They become the issue at hand instead of taking it in, processing it, and then moving forward. Like you accept it, but you have to move forward and know that time will heal. It'll never go away. You might have a scar, but you will be better and you will be whole again. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely. Good thoughts. I think that's now you got me thinking of how that story can expand into more life lessons,
Right? There
Yeah,
you go.
that's
You're
awesome.
welcome.
Okay, cool. You're all awesome, and I got another call coming up, and I will see you guys on Wednesday or Monday or whenever I see you. Okay, have a blessing.
Thank you, Alex.
Have a blessed day and blessed time until we meet again. Talk soon.
Okay.
Okay, bye.